and welcome to Tina Butty Podcast with me, Erica.
And me, Dominic.
And today, oh my god, that was really loud. And today, unfortunately, if you're British, you might not want to listen.
You're getting a rant.
You might not want to listen because I'm going to have a little bit of a rant. And you guys know I love British people. I mean, I'm married to one.
You don't.
And this is not serious stuff, guys. Like, this is just stuff that...
This is just funny stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that funny. No, I'm not going to try to say that, like, I'm funny, ha-ha, and everything that's going to come out of my mouth is going to...
This is gripes and
It's
pet
gripes.
peeves.
Yes. It's gripes. Like, okay, I'll just get started.
Just get us started. Just good in that needle.
First of all, I just hate it when British people think that they are the only people on the planet that queue.
No,
these
you
are
could
little.
have just ended that. Think they're the only people on the planet.
No, I know that this is like a weird thing to get annoyed about. But it's like all these lists and like people's YouTube videos and everything, like British people are saying, oh yes, things about British people. We really love to queue. No, I'm not going to say do they because I have a British person right here. Do you honestly think that British people are the only people that line up for things in the world?
No, but we do it. We have an ordered custom to do it.
What do you mean?
We have an order. Order. Like the Speaker of the House would say in Parliament. It's just the way we do it. We've done it since the war, so it's kind of like that kind of like etiquette is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, whereas everybody just queues up and, you know, they can just push in the front. Tut, tut, tut. You know,
yeah, I know.
Looks like rain.
Yeah, I know. You see these lists everywhere, and you see British people talking about, oh,
the
yes,
queues.
in Britain, we see a queue. We just have to line up. We don't even know what it's for, and we just get in line.
I asked one bloke what he was queuing for, and he didn't know. He just saw a queue, and he got on the end of it.
Yeah, First of all, in America, we don't generally call them queues.
We call it a line.
We call it a line, yeah. Queue, I mean, we know what the word means, but we don't usually use it. Yeah, we call it a line. Yeah,
I mean, in Britain, in school, they should line up. You know, they wouldn't say queue up. They'd say line up. Line up, everybody. Break time's over.
Yeah. But I mean, we line up for things in America too.
Black Friday. Well, we'll talk about that in a later episode.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you don't. Yeah, you line up for Black Friday, but when it happens, it's like it's really crazy.
Because
what
I
we're
remember
talking about is like, oh, there's an order. You know, even when at the first, you know, it's like the doors open and we enter
in an orderly fashion.
If
people cut in front of you, yeah, but I mean, we get pissed off if someone cuts in front of us in line at the grocery store.
Story time when you were getting your prescription and there was a line, and I didn't need a prescription. There you go. And this is so funny because I'd come into the store and I was like, and I just kind of like bypassed the line and went down to kind of wait at the start, you know, by her. I remember I did this, and the guy who was behind Erica, you know, and she was getting her thing, and I was just waiting here, and I just kind of glanced over at him, and he was going, you know, huffing and puffing. And he was like, "Hey, buddy, the line. This is the queue. This is the line." And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, but," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm just waiting for her. I haven't blatantly cut the queue here, man. You know, I'm just waiting for her. I'm not in the queue. I've just come down here because I'm with her. I'm just, you know, she's getting her stuff, you know."
Yeah.
But I could understand. It's just like, I'm not, actually, I guess it looked like I was waiting. I was just like, you guys, what are you queuing over there for? This is the queue. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just bugs me so much. Like British people going, "Oh, we love a line."
Nobody queues like Britain.
Yes. Like, what? What does that even mean?
Keep calm and queue on.
And like, why is that a thing that you guys are like proud of and you talk about? It's so. It would be really weird to me.
Very patriotic. It's in the. Do you know why there's lines in the British flag? Because they're meant to be like lines of queues. That's why there's line here, there's a queue there, you know, all that. See? Brilliant. I know what it's all about.
But yeah, it is like that. It would be so weird if over here we were like, oh, Americans, we just love lining up for things. You know, people would be like, what are you talking about?
We've only got a small island now. There's no empire left. We've got to have our cues, okay? Let us have our cues. What else? What else have you got?
Another thing. And this is going to be a big deal for British people listening. Because
big deal.
It has to do with tea.
Oh my God.
You guys, there's so many people online. I see it all the time. British people arguing about the tea in Britain is better than anywhere. America doesn't know how to do tea. American tea is weak. It's just like, do you guys not realize that tea is not American or British, and most likely the tea that you drink in America and or Britain has come from the same place, which is going to be like India or Africa, Saudi Arabia, perhaps.
Saudi Arabia, I don't know, maybe the
China, you know,
plantations out there, China.
But yeah, and it's like, if the tea you're drinking is weak, maybe there's less. And another thing is that there's some sort of regulation. I read this because I looked it up because British people are pissing me off. There is some sort of regulation that most tea bags follow, and they have to fill the tea bag with a certain amount of tea leaves. Right?
How many?
I don't know. A certain weight.
We need to know how many for your complaint to be processed.
So it's like, if your tea in America is weaker than your tea in Britain, then perhaps you're just not leaving the tea bag in long enough. Or perhaps your tea bag didn't have quite as many leaves in it, but it...
You're crying about this now.
The flavor. And then in Britain also... British people argue amongst themselves which brand of tea is better.
Yorkshire tea.
They all taste the exact same.
Yorkshire tea, best soil for teas.
Yes.
Yorkshire
Go
tea,
ahead and tell that story.
That is the best thing. Someone must have been winding them up. Someone tweeted at Yorkshire Tea's Twitter. When they said, oh, our tea, is packaged here in whatever, Taylors of Harrogate, or it's packaged in Harrogate or whatever, And this guy, Yorkshire tea, best soil for teas, Yorkshire soil is best soil for teas, like they grew the tea there. And then they said something else, and they said, wait a minute, is your tea not growing in Yorkshire? It's not growing in Britain. What are you talking about? And he's like, no, as he goes, oh, that's it. I'm not buying Yorkshire tea anymore. I thought it was, it's you've lied to us and and it's just they haven't, it's blended in India or wherever they get it from.
Yeah.
And it's like packaged in Harrogate. It's sent to Harrogate. It's all packaged up there into tea bags and boxes and everything and sold there. It's Yorkshire tea, they call it Yorkshire tea, but it's like, it's not growing in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
There's no tea plantations anywhere in Britain, You can't grow tea there because the climate isn't right. But yeah, this guy was winding them up and they kind of took it seriously, but then they were like, oh, wait a minute, it might be a wind up. This guy doesn't actually think that tea is growing in Britain,
Yeah.
But it'd be funny to know if there is anyone who actually thinks tea is growing in Britain. And, if I think there is a difference between the brands. It could be the blending. It could be, the quality of the tea. I mean, whatever. They might have the bad batch and they might go, oh, well, this can be for Asda brand. Asda or Tesco value brand tea. This is... we'll just get this tea and it's not very good, and the best tea we'll give for Twinings and Yorkshire Gold.
What is making it best, though?
I don't know.
It's all black tea.
The way they process it. It's a leaf.
It's dried out. It's just
yes,
dried.
I know, but they might not dry it out. There might be a process to it that they do.
Oh
you know?
my god! This is what I'm talking about, you guys.
Flavor,
this is what I'm talking about.
There's Earl Grey tea, and that tastes different to black tea.
I'm just talking about. Okay, yeah, I should have started that with just plain old black tea. Just straight up
English
black
breakfast tea is what it's called.
Yeah.
Black tea is what... No, that's the official name for it, is English breakfast tea.
Okay.
They call it black tea over here because, they think, that's what it's supposed to be called, but it's actually English breakfast tea.
I think it's black tea.
No, it's English breakfast tea.
And
that's what it's called.
I think they call it English breakfast tea because English people drink it with their breakfast. They put milk in it and whatever.
That's the official name because I've named it.
Oh
Isn't it the official name? Someone out there.
Okay.
This is a rant now.
Anyway, it is a rant. It is definitely a rant.
We're getting serious ranting now. Serious ranting. Oh, getting all worked up.
Another thing that I find just sort of baffling is that British people think that they're the only polite people on the planet as well.
What?
Yeah, with we're so polite. We apologize for everything.
Yes.
We say I'm sorry for everything. You'll bump into us. We'll say I'm sorry.
We'll say sorry.
First of all, I've read studies that say that is mainly a woman thing. Women just do that. Women everywhere in the world, women are always apologizing for everything, even if they didn't do anything.
Where are they?
I don't think it has anything to do with British people.
I don't believe there's any women on the planet anymore. They didn't exist after 1971. So there.
I don't know why, it's just a thing you see all the time. Oh, we're so polite. And you see other people in other countries saying that too. The British people are the most polite people. You know?
You haven't been on the road with a British person. Then.
That's what I'm saying.
They act like you on the road, actually. They get all road rage. You're like, speed the F up!
It's like, and I've been in pubs as well. It's just like...
Yes, pubs.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely pubs.
But British people like to think of themselves as the most polite people on the planet. And tourists, foreigners, for some reason, like to give British people the credit of being the most polite people on the planet. Have you ever been to the southern states in the United States of America?
Is that the most polite place in the planet?
I'm not saying it's the most polite place, but we're equally as polite. We say yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and please, and thank you.
That's just good manners, isn't it?
Yeah, because British people don't even like the sir and ma'am thing. They find it weird.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's not very polite to find people who say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am weird, now is it?
Please and thank you is about the extent of our politeness.
No, they consider...
Please, thank you, sorry, good night.
Yeah, they consider the fact that they say sorry for everything.
It's very polite, very polite.
It's like, I don't know that they're trying
very polite
I don't know that it's like a politeness thing, though, is it? Is it just habit, really?
Yeah, I guess it's a habit. I say sorry when I'm bumped into,
Yeah, oh sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I hit my elbow on the nightstand the other night, and I said sorry. It's like I went, oh, sorry.
That's my influence, though, because I've done it. Your mother's bumped into me or something, and I've said sorry, and she's gone, you're saying sorry for something I did? And it's just like, you just got to not get it. You just got to, it's just something that's built into you. It's like, oh, sorry. But it's not like, oh, he says sorry for everything and he thinks he's in the wrong all the time or whatever, or she thinks she's in the wrong all the time. It's just a habit of saying, oh, sorry, you okay?
Yeah. And I'm just looking this up now. No, what you just said goes perfectly with what I'm just looking at.
What are you going to rant now?
No, it's just, you say, oh, sorry, someone bumps into you, and you say, oh, sorry, and then they walk off.
Sorry.
And then they walk off and you go, bitch, or something like that. You would say that.
Bitch.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? I mean,
no, I wouldn't say that about your mother.
No, but I mean, that's what someone would normally probably say. So it's like a fake politeness, isn't it? Really, ultimately. Because you're saying,
Brits
oh,
were
sorry.
So fake. How is it so fake of polite? No, we're just very polite, it doesn't matter, we keep what we actually think to ourselves. Like said that, I mean, it's probably on that thing. It's like, oh, what British people really mean when they say something.
Oh, yeah.
Very British problem says, might want to rethink that. Real version is, definitely don't do that. How dare you? You've ruined everything, you idiot.
Yeah.
You idiot. Thanks a lot, you idiot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked before about the drinking and
the boozing culture.
And particularly the buying of rounds and expecting a round to be bought for you.
That's only if you've got the money.
Oh, that really makes me annoyed. You know, that really annoys me. It's like, just let me buy my own drink.
Just let me buy my own drink.
You buy your own drink. Like, don't expect me to buy.
Well, you can opt out of the round.
Yeah.
You can opt out of it.
That's what I would always do. That I would just be like, never buy me a drink.
You just say that. Don't buy me a drink. I'll get my own. It's okay. You know,
then they're going to think you're rude, aren't they?
Well, yeah, if you're rude, then you're rude, you know. Say, I don't go in for all that. I mean, I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm going to opt out because I don't want to buy everyone drinks, you know. I've only bought, like, a few rounds in my entire life. I'm probably the stingiest bastard out there with that kind of thing. But really, it's because it's like, you know, I don't have the money to fund your boozing habit, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the money to fund mine, fine. But I'm you know, I opt out. You know, what's more rude though is you accepting drinks and not buying one back.
Yeah,
that's the one thing that like my dad and everyone goes to go, oh, that guy, I don't like that guy. You know, you buy him around, he'd never buy you one back.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first thing they'd say, no matter if he's been convicted of murder or whatever.
But the thing is,
you know, it's like, and he's not going to the pub anymore. It's, oh, he didn't buy anyone
around.
But
the thing is they don't always ask, do they? They just go up to the bar and they come back to the table with a tray of drinks for everybody that's sitting in the group. They don't ask.
And you said, you shouldn't have done that because I can't get you one back. And they'd be like, oh, it's okay. We'll settle up later.
Yeah, we'll settle up later, though. They're expecting it later.
No, they don't.
It's just like, no, I'm not going to buy you an effing drink ever. I didn't ask you to buy me a drink.
That's a bit dramatic, isn't it? Ever. I'm never buying you a drink, ever.
Yes, no, it's not dramatic. I mean it. It's like, I am never going to buy you a drink. You should not have bought me.
Ever in my life, I'm never buying you a drink, ever, you bastard. How dare you? How dare you presume to think that I would buy you a drink?
Yes. No, I mean that. I'm never buying you a drink.
No, she bought around. She was very nice, actually, that woman. But she didn't buy me one.
It's just like,
she said to me, I'm never buying you a drink, ever.
We'll settle up later. No, we won't, because I'm never buying you a drink. I am never going to do it.
I apologize for my wife, everybody. She doesn't want to buy a round. So don't buy her one.
I'm looking at an article, you guys. I mean, some of this stuff is my own stuff. Some of this are other people's gripes that I just happen to agree with, even mildly. But somebody says about the snobbish culture, the snobbish British culture.
Looking down your nose at someone. Yeah.
I do know. No, I know what I am taking it more like, but this one I will say that I think every country does it.
There's a snobbery in every country.
You think your country's better than everybody else.
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people go, oh, well, it's a lot of things that the Yanks do wrong, innit?
I mean, Britain likes to complain about. Britain likes to complain about their own country.
Oh, you can't complain about.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Well, yeah.
They like to complain about their own country.
That's what I've kind of had that over here. You can't complain about America, you know, and all that kind of thing. I've had that sort of kind of like feeling over here, you could say, you know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, yeah. Well, especially online, if I criticize someone in office, I've had that kind of response of like, oh, you foreigners coming over here lecturing us. Oh, another foreigner lecturing Americans. It's like, but that's so funny because I mean, I'll get into a rant.
I was gonna say this could turn sort of ugly if we don't like just sort of stay very surface level, because this is like talking about the smug superiority of British people.
Smug superiority, how dare you?
And I do think that Britain.
Did I ever tell you what happened in 1953?
That Britain and probably France are the two main countries that we consider
snobby
to think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever think that. I wouldn't ever think that a Spanish person thinks that they're better than Americans or like Italians or I wouldn't though.
I think
that's not to say that they're not, but you wouldn't just automatically think that in this country. You would automatically think, oh, those British or those French, they think that they're so superior to the rest of us. They think they're so...
Well, there is this pervading thing about Brits. I will admit that, especially online, if you go to the Britain and you say something wrong in a vlog...
If you go to the Britain.
If you go to the UK, I was going to say, but I changed it at the last minute. Go to Britain and you say something in a vlog, you know, and it's something that's wrong, they will instantly correct you on it.
Yeah.
And you'll get thousands of comments, even though it only takes one person to say, actually, it's this, and da-da-da. Thousands of people go, oh, actually, it's this. Actually, it's this. You're wrong on this.
Right.
Get your facts right. Stop coming here, you daft cow.
Even if you maybe knew the right thing, but you just flubbed and you said something, or you just said it offhand, not
and
really
you didn't.
thinking.
It's so mental.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it happens over here. If I came to Austin, as a traveler, and I called the Capitol building something else. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I called it just a dome. I don't know what that's called. Yeah, you know, it's like they go, that's the Capitol building. Don't you do any research? Oh, what's the matter with you? Yeah. Oh, you coming over here and you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
But Brits have the it's happened on a vlogging friend of ours channel. Mm-hmm. She got Big Ben. She kept calling it Big Ben, and that wound up so many Brits. Because the technical name for it is the Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is the bell. You can't actually see it. That's more of like a fun fact.
Yeah.
It's not something to get wound up over and say, oh, you keep calling it Big Ben, and it's actually the Elizabeth Tower. It's very gammon. It's very gammon.
Yeah.
That's what you call it. It's like, and it's like, that's why Brexit happened. They think like, oh, by getting out of the EU, this is all going to stop.
Yeah.
You know, all these foreigners coming here and getting things wrong. It's going to stop.
Yeah.
You know? We're taking back our country, innit? Shut up.
With the way you're...
Sorry, I'm ranting.
The way
now.
your face looks.
This is supposed to be your rant, but I'm having a rant now about Britain.
Oh, I guess kind of the last thing I'll just mention is, and it again is a very like touchy subject. People get really,
and where is it gone?
About.
And where has Britain gone? We're taking back our country. It's like, oh, we're taking our country back. Is it gone?
It's the same thing, isn't it? Like, make America great again.
Yes.
Oh, so you're saying America wasn't great, you know,
yes,
for the last however long, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get our country back. It's like, I looked out the window. It's gone. Has it gone, is it?
We have no position on Brexit, by the way.
Yeah. We're neither... It's very on the fence.
Anyway. No, the last topic is the war.
What? What war?
Uh-huh. The way...
Don't you know there's a war
The way Britain talks about America's involvement in the war.
Oh, well, I mean...
That
kind of
really winds me up.
That's older generations, too.
I don't know.
If
you do get young people, like... You do... I think you get more young people than older generations. Let me tell you why. Because... Well, I guess first of all, I should explain what I'm talking about specifically. And that's
the fact that America entered the war late.
The fact that we entered the war late, and then Britain is also bitter about the fact that, and I'm doing air quotes here, that America won the war for you guys.
Yes,
the Allies.
That's what certain American tourists of a persuasion say.
I have to say,
and I think I don't know. They're not winding us up. They actually believe that.
No, they actually believe it, and I have to say, I'm not saying that. Again, this is a big topic, you guys. So
very controversial.
I'm very sorry if this is a big topic we're gonna squeeze in here to the last 5 minutes, but I have to say that it winds me up because, for one thing, my grandfather fought in the war.
Yes.
He was at Normandy. He was at the Rhineland. He was at all the biggest battles there at the end of the war when America entered. Britain would not have won without help.
No, I mean, and it wasn't just Britain at the end of the day.
Well, no.
It was just...
It was the Allies. The Allies.
Yeah.
The Allies would not have won without some help. They needed help sooner than we got there to help them. I agree with that. But they needed help. They just did. And you have so many people saying, oh, America, we didn't need America. We were winning anyway. Russia had turned on. And that's true.
Russia had
without
turned
Russia
on,
having
but
turned
on.
The
problem with Russia is they became a problem later on too, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it was Eisenhower or someone said, yeah, they're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Later on down the road.
Without Russia having turned on Germany, you know, I mean, that helped. Obviously,
yes.
If they had stayed on the side of
might have
Hitler,
it might have been a bit of a crazy fight, you know.
Yeah, but so they turned on
Could
them.
have gone either way.
So that helped, but Britain needed help. I mean, that is just a fact. Or I mean, and again, I'm saying Britain.
Yes,
I mean the Allies.
And I mean, ever since the war began in like 1939, from like 1940 onwards, I think Churchill was trying to get American involvement in the war, and it just was, you know, who was it? Roosevelt? FDR, wasn't it? He was in charge at the time of, as the president at the time of the war. He didn't want to do it, because, I mean, America had already been involved in the Great War.
Yeah.
And they'd come into that kind of, you know, at the end.
Yeah.
It was kind of...
And there wasn't really like a clear winner at
clear winner,
and it was just kind of like
very,
what was the
I mean,
point of that.
It basically laid the groundwork of the Second World War.
Sorry.
But yes, it's just kind of that kind of thing is just kind of like, you know, it came in late, but it was just like they were all raring to go. There was some volunteers who went over, you know, but the official position was we're not getting involved in that. It doesn't affect us, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pearl Harbor happened then.
Yeah.
Hitler decided, I'll ally with Japan, and they went and did Pearl Harbor. I
mean, very clearly, anything that's happening anywhere in the world affects everybody in the world.
Yes, yeah.
So let's just say that straight off the bat. But I think that the idiots who say, "Oh, without us, you'd be speaking French," you know, that's like,
yeah.
You speak
German, yeah, not French.
Not French. Without us, you'd be speaking German. That's like the classic. That's like the classic line. If it hadn't been
for America, England wouldn't be here, all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, I think that kind of stuff pisses British people off.
It's just like,
because it's just like, yeah, you guys, along with the other allies were...
Yeah, we saved your ass in World War II.
Yeah.
And we saved your ass in World War III.
But the thing about it that I don't like, because Britain gets all riled up about that, is that if you talk to a British World War II vet, which I met one on one of our trips to Britain.
On your boozing trip, innit? In the pub.
He was genuinely appreciative of America's involvement in the war.
And I think most of the, you know, if your grandfather was alive today, he wouldn't be saying, "Oh yeah, without our help,
no,
blah blah blah."
No, he definitely
it was just kind of like,
not.
Everybody needed to stop Hitler.
Yes.
Because if Hitler had overrun Britain, then that would have been the end of it. You know,
yeah.
Europe would be completely freaking crazy.
We couldn't have, if let's say it was just us involved, we couldn't have done it on our own. Britain couldn't have done it on their own. France couldn't have done it on their own. You know, everybody needed to help each other. Yeah, definitely. So, but, you know, meeting that guy, Jim, I think his name was, he was just like, "Oh yeah, the Americans," and he was all like jolly about it. He was
because
just like,
at that point it was kind of like Britain was on its arse, and I mean it's kind of like that. The chocolate, you know, like chocolates and stockings and stuff like that. We just had no access to it. Everything was on the ration.
Yeah,
we had nothing. And, you know, there's all that kind of thing like, oh, yeah, they're over here, overpaid and oversexed.
Yeah.
Overpaid, oversexed, and over here.
Yeah.
Is what the joke was. Or whatever they were saying,
Yeah.
And, because a lot of them were stationed in Britain.
Yeah.
Ready to do D-Day or whatever. And of course all the British men were off at the front fighting, or they were in North Africa or something, and so they were getting girls and, wives and whatever, and, and just like some of them would bugger back off to America,
Yeah.
Because they thought their husband was dead, or their sweetheart was dead in the war over there because they hadn't heard from them,
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we'll end there because
we can go on and on and on.
We can go on, and I mean that is definitely a topic that people get really heated about. The war.
Yes.
I mean, think about how long ago that was. But a lot of us
70 years.
But a lot of us do have
almost
grandparents or whatever who fought and came back and suffered with PTSD and stuff, and or were even killed over there, or developed a drinking habit or whatever. And so
most of them did,
so I think it's rightfully an emotional topic for people, and I think it's not fair for America to go, oh, we won the war for you. And it's also not fair for Britain to sort of poo-poo America's role in the war.
Poo-poo, yeah.
Yeah, so that was all my point was on the topic.
But yes.
But yeah, I think that's enough ranting now.
Enough ranting.
We're all
plumb tuckered out from the ranting.
That's a different podcast. Sorry if I offended you, if I triggered anyone.
Are you being triggered? Call this line now.
But again, that's like sorry in the Texas way. If you listen to our last podcast or whenever it came out, bless your heart.
Bless your heart, everybody.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.